when it comes to grief, like the loss is the tragedy, the loneliness, that is the trauma. People think that the problem is the loss, and so everybody tries to address the loss, right?
Because that is true. I think because we experience a loss, we're like, so let's address the loss.
Let's address
right?
the loss.
But not everything that the loss has caused you to feel.
This is what I'm saying.
You know?
You trying to help people put their lives together is the anesthesia that's really numbed your heart to the fact that yours is falling apart.
Man.
So you need to chill.
That's a word in itself. Hey y'all, welcome to She Discovered Podcast. Welcome back. I'm your host, Shay Sana. And on this season of She Discovered, we will be discussing the many layers of grief. And on this topic today, I'm joined by John Onwuchekwa.
Look at you. There we go.
And we will be discussing how grief and faith intertwine. So let's get started. Let me introduce you to John.
Yeah.
So John Onwuchekwa is a thinker, a storyteller, a social entrepreneur whose work explores how people move through grief. As founder of We Go On, he develops ideas, experiences, and language for navigating loss and loneliness in a world that often avoids both. John, thank you.
Thank you. That was a great bio. Where did you get that from?
Your stuff, your
Oh, is
website.
it? Oh, see.
It's like, dang, you did a
AI.
great job.
Hey,
Yeah. I'm like, before I jack this up, let me go to the website
Okay.
and get exactly how he wants to be introduced, right?
Claude did a great job.
It wasn't Claude. Claude did a good job on your
Claude
website.
did a great job. I'm not good at bios. Claude did a great job. Yeah.
Thank you, Claude.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Claude.
Thank you.
Okay. So, tell me, for those who may be encountering your work for the first time,
Yeah.
I'm somewhat used to it because I found you on Instagram.
Okay.
Because in doing research about grief,
Yeah.
your videos was coming up in the
Okay.
ecosystem, right? So it's doing its job.
Okay.
It's
All right.
doing its job. But for those that are introduced to you for the first time, how would you describe the heart behind your ministry and the work that you're doing revolving around grief?
Yeah. So I think it all started for me 11 years ago when my brother Sam suddenly passed away.
Okay.
I was 30 years old at the time. I had been a pastor for 8 years
Okay.
and walked people through some of the hardest things of their life. And when Sam passed, I was at the lowest point of my life, and I was also my absolute loneliest. And so I was shocked because you feel like grief is something that is inevitable.
Right.
Everybody's going to face it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if everybody's going to face it, why are people so bad at
Discussing
helping
it.
us through it? Yeah. So at that point, I just, I did what everybody else did. And I was like, all right, you just got to be resilient and push through. And a year after his death, my life was falling apart.
What did that look like?
It looked like a funny story. Yeah, funny in hindsight.
Yeah.
I was, so this was 9 months after he passed. This is January 2026.
Okay.
I was friends with the basketball coach for Texas A&M, Billy Kennedy. And they're playing the University of Georgia, and Billy says, hey, John, would you come and speak to the team?
Yeah.
And so at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling better. I'm okay, right? So I go, I drive from Atlanta to Athens, Georgia, and I speak to the team. And I think I speak to them about grief and hope and all the things in between. And I kept on saying, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And at the end, I drive back home. And as I drive back home, I go to Lenox Mall in Atlanta, not far from me. I got to take back a pair of shoes at Nike. Yeah, I'm a pastor at the time.
Yeah.
So I am in my green Toyota Camry, and I turn right into the parking lot. And I have to wait on a spot. Normally, I hate waiting, but today was different. because, and I promise I'm not this self-absorbed, but today I was sitting in the car and I was reflecting on the fact of how good a job that I did.
Wow.
Oh yeah, no, I killed the
killed
talk.
it.
Oh, I killed it.
Yeah.
They was crying, they was laughing, they gave me hugs at the end. I killed it. So I'm waiting on the spot. I'm waiting. And then what like brings me up out of my daydream is I see those two little white lights that are on the back of the car that tell you that a car is getting
backing up.
pull out. So the car is getting ready to pull out, and I'm getting ready to turn it, and all of a sudden, a car zooms in and takes the spot that I was waiting on.
Oh, ooh,
and
rage.
Immediately, yeah, yo, this is what I'm saying. I'm a very like calm and chill person, and so I thought. So it's like, yeah, immediately, like I'm like white knuckled behind this beige steering wheel, right?
Like how you remember all the colors.
Well, which lets you into my state of mind. You know how hard it is for somebody like me to get white knuckled?
Yeah.
So I'm angry and I lean in on my horn and I honk, and it's a bunch of kids in the car. And they look back and you could tell they're concerned, and they're like, yo, we were just getting ready to back up and go out. And so I'm like, yo, chill, chill. So I wait and I wait and I wait. And you know what I don't see? I don't see those little white lights on the back of the car that tell me that the car is going to back up. And then I look and I see the kids scurrying out of the front seat, laughing.
Here we go.
Roll down the window, stare them kids in the eyes. Oh, and I cuss them out. I cuss them out. The most shocking thing to me was not even that I cussed them out. It was, I hadn't cussed anybody out in 15 years, but the fluency that I retained. I mean, I'm stringing together those phrases. Oh my goodness. Stringing together those phrases. Like I took 4 years of Spanish in high school and I don't remember, right, nada, but started to cuss and they just laugh all the way into the store.
Yeah.
And I'm so angry. And what wakes me up out of that is right next to that spot, two little white lights on the back of a car.
Yeah.
Pull out. And I pull into a spot.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
what was that? What's
wrong with me? So I call my wife and my friends at the time, and I'm like, y'all, I'm not okay. And they're like, we know that you're not okay. We just been waiting on you to say that you're not okay.
Wow.
And that was a time where it really like settled in. I'm not okay. I was ashamed that I wasn't okay.
Yeah.
But the people closest to me weren't. And so I'm like, I'm the only one trying to sprint towards a finish line of grief. And so at that time, they basically came back and was like, hey, John, we appreciate the fact that you want to help people and do all of that stuff. But we feel like you trying to help people put their lives together is the anesthesia that's really numbed your heart to the fact that yours is falling apart.
Man.
So you need to chill.
That's a word in itself.
So I took some time and relaxed and didn't think about all that. And that was when I really started to lean into my grief for the first time instead of trying to run through it or run past it.
Yeah.
And everything changed for me at that point, I think, when I realized, and I mean, there's so much more to the realization, but it's just the like phrase or the mantra, the way that I've lived my life for the past decade is that tragedy doesn't ruin anybody. Hopelessness does. We got to hold on to hope. So that is what my life, I think, for as long as I live, has been about, but more specifically in these last 10 years, just trying to help people that are hopeless and lonely hold on to hope.
I have so much questions.
Come on, that's why we're here, to answer the question.
Because my mind is like, wow.
Yeah.
So okay, so the first one is the loneliness. Is it loneliness in general of what people experience through life or in association with grief?
So, all right, so this is it. It is a different kind of loneliness. And this is where people miss it, right? when it comes to grief, people think that the problem is the loss. And so everybody tries to address the loss, right? So with grief, it's like, all right, we lose a loved one. Folks are like, all right, well, we've just got to get you to where you don't think about that loss. Or ambiguous grief. This is a thing that people don't know, right? There's tangible grief, the death of a loved one, right?
Right.
Ambiguous grief is death without a funeral without a casket.
Right.
You know, the death, the loss of a job, the death of a marriage, the death of a friendship, chronic
Identity.
illness, identity, all of those things where in your mind it is something is not as it should be. And you have this deep and appropriate sense of perpetual sadness that will not go away. And there is this thing that takes place where folks think, all right, grief is all about the loss. And so if I lost this job, things are going to go away when I get a new one. When I've lost this health, things are going to go away if I get better. But when it comes to grief, like the loss is the tragedy, the loneliness, that is the trauma. So Dr. Mary Catherine McDonald, she defines trauma as when your emotional pain cannot find a relational home.
Wow. Is she the one that discusses how grief lives in the body?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
Much of her work outside of that quote.
The name sounded familiar, but I may be wrong, but okay.
No, but it really is this sense of like, loss is something that is supposed to unite us. Grief is one of the most common human emotions. But when we go through it, it feels isolating. It feels like nobody else gets us. We feel so alone. And it is that loneliness and isolation that sets in, that shuts us off from the rest of the world. And that is the thing that does us in. That's the thing that we have to address. And so when it comes to, grief, it's, trying to help people see your biggest problem isn't what you think that it is.
Yeah, you make a valid point, because that is true. I think because we experience a loss, we're like, so let's address the loss.
Let's address the loss.
But not everything that the loss has caused you to feel.
This is what I'm saying.
So I think that's a good point that I want my listeners to take from this. But I also want to go back, and we'll dive more into that. But I want to go back to when you said you felt shame.
Yeah.
Why did you feel shame? When you said you felt shame that you weren't okay, when they were like, we knew you weren't okay.
I know.
Did you feel like, was it because you as a person you felt like you had to have it together, or you as a man should have had it together back then?
Both.
Okay.
Well, really all three. Me as a person, me as a man, and me as a person of faith. And so this is what really like shaped and affected me, right? That it was I lived at that time as if like my emotions and if my body were betraying me, right? That I was like, yo, I'm sad because I lost my brother, and my body's not right. I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I don't have the motivation. I can't tell myself to get up. My emotions aren't in check. I'm dysregulated. I'm starting to lash out. I can't think straight. And so I felt like, what's wrong with me, right? And I felt like my body was betraying me. And in hindsight, I found out, it wasn't my body that betrayed me. It was my belief system that betrayed me. And this is what I mean, right? Not my faith tradition, not my background, but the belief system that I constructed based on all of these inputs that I had in the past that told me, or that had me believe that somehow like, my mind and my faith and my heart were strong enough to control the way my body responded. And it kind of told me that when my body is out of whack, to lecture my body, to tell my body about faith, and that my body would have to submit to my faith. And in some ways, I believed that my body was some kind of liar.
Okay.
That had to be taught the truth, when instead, like, I learned, like, our bodies don't really lie.
They
like
don't.
That.
Right.
Our bodies are liaisons. They don't tell the whole story, but they tell us something is wrong, something is not right. Pay attention to this. And what I say, like, my particular belief system at the time betrayed me because I never learned the importance of listening to my body.
Right. I think many of us don't.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think we see the connection between our stressors, our emotions, and how it shows up. Okay, you said you got angry,
Yes.
right? You felt shame.
Yeah.
Those are emotions too.
They are.
Was there any point that you felt actual ailments? Because I think that's what I'm also referring to, that sometimes we don't realize how our emotions and stressors also cause ailments
No, this
in
is
our
what
body.
I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it was a type of consistent fatigue.
Yes, you did mention that.
Yeah, just there, or, soreness in the body, or even ways in which, like, like outbreaks in my skin, like just all of these things that are starting to pop up, that in my mind, it's what's wrong? Maybe I need to wash my face more, maybe that. And it's like, no, it's not that. It's your body telling you something is not right.
Correct.
And your body is going to consistently push things up and out or shut things down until, right, we take the time to kind of sit and to talk and to work through. And not saying that every chronic illness is linked to things going on in the heart. But in those times of intense stress, it's like your body will say, pay attention.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you, at that point now, how did you now reconcile or address your faith, your belief?
Yeah.
Were there questions that you had with God?
Oh, absolutely.
Now that time, I love that you started with this story with the parking lot.
Yeah.
What did that look like after, when you're like, okay, I really got to address this?
I got to address it. Yeah. So I think for me at the time, it was, all right, I know I'm feeling lonely and isolated. And so it's like, I just have to verbalize this. I've got to find myself. I've got to get to a place where I'm at least giving verbal words to what I feel on the inside, so that I can know if I'm crazy or not. Because right now I feel crazy.
Okay.
And what I need is, I just need to be able to say this stuff out loud. And I need somebody to just say, me too. Right. So at this time, I'm preaching every week still. And whatever filter that I had that was concerned about putting on a strong face or a strong front, things changed for me. And so I'm constantly, crying in the pulpit, right? I'm constantly finding myself saying things that I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. That's embarrassing. I wish I could take it back.
Yeah.
But I try my best. Don't edit, right? And it was wild, because as I did that, every week people would come up and they would just say, like, I'd come down and I would feel like, damn, what the hell? What did you
That
do?
was too much.
That was too much. And people would come and say, thank you. They would say, I felt the exact same way, but I never had the words.
Right.
So it was this perpetual thing of like, helping people
Allowance.
find the right words when there are none. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
like you
was
allowed yourself, hence allowing others.
to be human. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was pivotal for me because I started to feel less alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surrounded by people who started to feel less alone. And my feelings of sadness and loss and grief were still there. So the deep loss was there, but the loneliness wasn't.
Okay.
And so that kind of changed things, right? I thought that at times, like my will not to go on, or my will not to live, or my will not to move on, I thought that that was tied to the deep sense of loss that I faced. And so or the deep sense of loss that I felt. So I thought that, all right, once this deep sense of loss shrinks, then I'll regain my will to go on and to live and to do it. The crazy thing was, for a long time, that deep sense of loss stayed the same. But as the loneliness shrank, I saw my will to continue or to go on or to like change. And I saw, oh, I thought the loss was the obstacle that stopped me from all those things, but really it was the loneliness that stopped me from that.
That makes sense. It makes me think about this book. I don't know if you ever heard of it. I forgot the other author, forgive me, but Oprah Winfrey is one of the authors, and it says, What Happened to You, right?
What happened to, okay.
What happened to you? So it discusses like the trauma that we've experienced, but how to address it and saying like, this is what happened to me.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And how do I give it room, give it space?
Yeah.
And I feel like the pivotal message in that book is we all just want to have a sense of belonging and want to be seen.
That's it.
So although you were trying to tackle the loss, like you said, until you felt a sense of belonging within yourself and the allowance that people weren't looking at you with pity, with shame or whatever, that you were seen.
Yeah.
So like you said, you allowed yourself and you allowed other people. I think we all just want to feel seen.
Yeah.
So once we're seen and we feel like there's a sense of belonging and more answers come, the loss is more bearable.
Yes. I just
say more bearable. I'm not saying it is bearable. You know what I mean?
It's not. It's so. It is this, right? The loss is going to be a huge hole, or the loss is a huge load that we carry for the rest of our lives. In some ways, that load is not going to shrink.
Yeah.
It may go away from time to time, or we may not see it, and then we bump up into it.
Yeah.
Trying to carry that loss through life by yourself, unbearable, too heavy. That's where people get stuck, and they're just like, I wish that this loss would shrink so that I could move on. There's two ways to address a big load like that.
Yeah.
You can do all that you can to make the load shrink to a size that you can carry, or it's like you do what you do. Like if you have a grand piano in your house and you have to move it, you're not, all right, let me break this up and break it apart so that I can take it in loads and then I'll piece it back when I get to my house. You say, no, this piano is a thing that if I'm ever going to move it, I'm going to need a bunch of people to move it with me.
Yeah.
Right? And it is a valuable thing. So we don't want to break it apart, tear it apart. We don't want it to go away. And that's what people think about the loss at first. Like, I just can't wait until I don't want to feel this loss anymore. No. But that loss it's love.
Yeah.
Right? And if that loss goes away or it shrinks, then it's like that is the sign, the aftertaste, the leftover of the fact that you had this great love. And so for that loss to shrink, in some ways, it's our love for that thing shrinks. And I don't want to forget how I feel about Sam, right? I don't want to forget how I feel about those loves. So rather than hoping that loss would shrink, I just don't want to be forced to carry that alone. And so I want other people to come with me to carry
the load. The load that you mentioned of the loss that you say that it never actually disappears. Do you think the same for ambiguous grief?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
ambiguous grief, the things that we labeled as it, almost feels like, well, it's replaceable per se,
yeah.
right?
Well, yeah.
So why is it something that we would carry once it's replaceable? What's
Yeah,
your
because I
thoughts on
think that
that?
the thing that we lose is the love and emotion that we get of like being in that thing, right? Being a part of that thing. So you think of, think of like groups that you were part of, or think of relationships that you've had that started off well, but end poorly.
Yeah.
It's not just, glad I dodged that bullet. It is all right, but there was something about that time, right? Like where it was, oh, wait a minute, like there's something about this community of people that I was with at one time that felt safe and secure, right? I think of the guys that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling my friends about this the other day that it was I had a group of like 3 guys in high school
Yeah.
that from 9th grade until 12th grade, I spent more time with Alan and Collins than I did with my entire family.
Okay.
We played ball together. We was at school together. On the weekends, we hung out. On Sundays, I was with them, and together I spent more time with them than I did with my brothers. And I think of those 4 years, and I look back at that time, and though we don't have it anymore, and though, they've all gone to do great things, there's an aspect of that I still grieve. Because I remember what it was like to be in a spot where there was like this complete safety and transparency and vulnerability and people that I could lean on absolutely, that didn't have a stake in like my success, that didn't want anything from me. And that was special. And so I grieve the loss of that. And they carry it with me. And I have great friends now, people that I love with all of my heart. But with them, that was unique. And I don't want to
erase the memory.
To erase that or to forget about that time. And when we start to talk about replacing things that we love, right, or things that are replaceable, I think internally you start to see sometimes like how absurd that thought can be. So you think of like one of the one of the absolute worst things that I've seen folks say through the years is somebody, they have a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And they lose a child.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, they have another child. And somebody's like, isn't that, God's good. He right? And it's like, all right, yes, I have this new child, but it's not a replacement for what I have, right? And so there were thoughts and hopes and dreams and a life and a future and plans and feelings that came up that I do think is the same with our ambiguous griefs, the things that we lose, right? Things that are irreplaceable.
I like that you said that, because as you're talking and using the word replacement and with your friends, I'm like, the memory that they carried, the sentiment, the love that lived in your body and in your mind.
Yeah.
So although, you guys are not as close, no bad blood, but we grow older, or like you say, with a divorce or whatever the case may be, it held a place there.
Oh, yeah.
So it almost feels that although we call it ambiguous, but it's wherever it held a place, it's no longer there. So I grieve that.
Absolutely.
So instead of saying, oh, let me look for something to replace it, you can't replace that. Almost feels like that DNA that thing carried.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It carried a DNA. And so it's like, although you could get a new job, although you can do the therapy and work on self-identity and all this type of stuff, there's a feeling of sadness because there's a wound attached to whatever that loss was.
Absolutely. Yes.
I never saw it that way.
Right. Yeah. And so it's like grief is the wound.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a bunch of wounds through life.
Mm-hmm.
So the aim is we have to attend to the wound.
Mm-hmm.
Grief is the wound. Isolation is the preventable yet fatal infection that comes when those wounds are left untreated.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to have these wounds and we don't want to let those wounds fester.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to name those wounds, to be seen in those wounds, and not to have, not to be at a place where we talk about those things and folks are like, man, why are you mad about? That's what I'm saying. Like, you want to be at a spot where when we start to name those wounds, people do the hard work and they're like what you did. Yeah. Yeah, tell me more about that. What was it that you loved, right? Mm-hmm. You're from New York. Yeah. Two of my dear friends live in Harlem. Okay. Jordan and
shout out to Harlem.
Jessica Rice. Yeah. Jordan and Jessica Rice. They've been married 13, 14 years now. Mm-hmm. What's unique about their story is both of them were widowed in their 20s. Wow. Jessica lost her spouse 2.5 months into marriage. Tragic motorcycle wreck. 10 months into marriage, Jordan lost his wife. 10 months in, his wife was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer. She went quick.
Ooh, that's agonizing, yeah.
They started dating other people. Mm-hmm. When they dated other people, the other people would be like, as time would go on, they would feel or they would say or get this sense kind of like, yo, I don't want to be rude. It's like they're gone and I'm here. Why do you still talk about them? Mm-hmm. In terms of the feeling of, hey, am I not a good replacement? Mm. And Jordan and Jessica, so the relationships would end, but then Jordan and Jess met each other. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, they met somebody else fluent in, they started to talk about their late spouses.
Spouses, yeah.
And the other party invited that talk because they're like, oh, I know that I'm never going to replace them. Right. But I know that they are a part of you. And if I don't know them, then I'm not really going to get to know you. So I want to hear and I want you to talk about. And they still had this deep loss, but the loneliness wasn't there. And I think that's it with all of our losses. The way that we treat those griefs is we don't keep them to ourselves. We share the love that was the foundation of those things.
Right. Ooh. Okay. So let's get into more into the faith aspect, right? Yes. Because we touched on so much. With what your experience, like you said, you were sharing on the pulpit, you were expressing yourself. So what do you think is the danger in presenting a polished faith when you're really grieving, either as a pastor, either as a member, or just in general, a believer? What do you think the dangers are in presenting yes, God is good. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. He'll carry my burdens. I know. What's the dangers in that?
Yeah. So I think the dangers of that is that it prevents a type of faith system that is frail, that is brittle. Mm-hmm. It is a bridge with no support. And it sounds good and it sounds great, but it is a ship with holes at the bottom. And you convince people to get on and they come on and there's all these big things and you send it out to sea and they sink and they drown and they blame the particular faith tradition and not the system that was presented.
Yeah.
When you do that, the danger, is not just that it doesn't work. The danger is that it harms in the worst way. It gives people what I say is the only thing in the world that is worse than the real pain that they feel, false hope.
Okay.
The only thing in the world that's worse than real pain is false hope, because it keeps you, waiting in the cold and in the rain for a bus that's never coming.
Okay.
And so the danger of it is that it makes people bitter or hypocrites. And this is what I mean. People get to a place where eventually you start to know, and people start to know, this doesn't work. And so at that point, people can do one of two things.
Okay.
They can be mad as hell, be frustrated, and leave and want to burn the whole place down. This is the worst. And now they become the biggest antagonists to the faith, right? This shit don't work. Let's get it out of here. Or what's worse than that is they pretend.
Yeah.
And they're like, this doesn't work, but it seems like it works for everybody else. So let me just act like it works.
Yeah.
And then when people act like it works, right? Like, what you do in moderation, the people that look up to you will do in excess. So when people act like it's works, then what you do is you train the next generation of people to cope with their stuff in the same way. And when you do that, things perpetually get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And people that pretend to be healthy in public find destructive ways to soothe their burdened souls in private. And so you get, people that are publicly on the outside pretending that things are good.
Yeah.
And
so I hear the pretending, and I hear like the other extreme. And I don't even want to use the word extreme because I think it's valid when you're like, screw this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I want nothing to do with God, with this faith.
Yeah.
How do we address that?
Yeah.
Did you have moments where you're just like, God, I'm angry, I have questions, I don't know about this, but then you're also battling wanting to show up at church as a pastor and having all the answers? But I want to talk more towards the side of the anger.
Absolutely.
I tell people, sometimes we feel afraid to tell God, like as if like we're going to get struck down.
Right.
Like, I don't trust you, I'm mad. I don't know why me?
Right.
Why my loved one, or why am I going through this loss if
Absolutely.
it's, ambiguous? So how did you move through, if you had that anger and wanting to throw everything out the window?
One of the things that grief does is it just removes the filter and tears down any pretenses that you had or any desire to present yourself as anything other than who you are. Or that's what it did for me at the time.
Yeah.
So there was a time where it was like, oh, not everything that I believed about God to be true, his goodness, his kindness, his wisdom, I disbelieved. C.S. Lewis, he writes in this book called Grief Observed, where it's like him journaling, writing about the death of his wife, trying to work through that. And one of the things that he writes is like, when we go through a kind of grief, what we learn is that we thought that our faith was some strong tower, but what grief helps us see is that at any point, our faith is really nothing more than a house of cards. And it crumbles down. And and we're surprised by it.
Yeah.
But what I learned is that God is not, right? So it was, and it is in those times of the most brutal and intense honesty with God. It's so fun. And anybody that's gone through it, it's they don't feel like, I didn't feel like voicing it
Okay.
distanced me from God. If anything, it's those times of voicing that intense anger that makes me feel closest.
What does it look like?
Oh shit. It's see, this is what I'm saying. It is for me. This is for me.
Yeah.
It is in the car, it is driving, it is being very honest with the most direct language. It is through tears, right? Not putting any filter. It is cursing. It is saying, what do you want from me? It is just this like unburdening of the soul and just saying, I can't care. I just, what do you want? It is bringing in friends that surround me, people that I know and trust, and say, hey, I want you to know that there are things that I'm feeling. There's things that I'm going to say that may shock and surprise you, but I just want you to be clear. This is where I'm at. So when you're like, oh, how can I support you? I just need you to know that I am down bad, right? It is for me as well, like writing. And there's just something about
Pen to paper.
when our thoughts are going 1,000 miles a minute. And this is where, right, grief is as much a written language as it is your body language. That what writing does is when your mind is going 1,000,000 miles a second, writing is the brake pads that forces your mind to slow down long enough for you to be aware of what it is. And so it is writing it. Like sometimes I don't even know what I'm thinking until I write it down. And it is just saying, I just need to do this until I get to a place where I can just feel like, like there's this thing called the vagus nerve in your brain.
Okay.
It, develops when you're an infant. And it's the thing in your brain that like when you feel this type of intense emotion, right? Babies, right? When they feel all that and, there comes a point where it's like, hey, you've got to let them cry it out.
Soothe themselves, yeah.
So they'll cry and cry and cry and cry. And the vagus nerve is like, all right, you've had enough sadness. We're going to shut things down and you're going to go to sleep and we'll reset. So it is this doing it until you just get to a point where it's like,
got it. Yeah.
Yeah. You? Yeah. What's it like for you?
You're asking me for real?
To be honest, yes.
Oh, okay.
We're in a conversation. We're in a conversation. No, convo. Yeah.
Okay, repeat it because you just sidetracked me for a second. Yeah.
What is it like for you, right, to be honest? And we haven't really talked about faith stuff. So I'm not even sure what your faith background.
I'm a believer in the Most High, in the Messiah, and I think for me when I was going through my grief journey last year, I mentioned in one of the episodes of my own grief journey that it was a lot of crying.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But I'm naturally a feeler. So crying is not new to me, but it felt like a release.
Yeah.
It felt like everything that was stored was just like involuntary.
Yeah.
I'm walking. I'm like, why is tears coming down my face?
Yeah.
I'm on the bus. It was just like my body was like, you can no longer hold on to this.
Yeah.
I need to release.
Yeah.
And at that point, I didn't run to scriptures.
Yeah.
I didn't run to the Bible.
Oh.
I literally was like, God, I'm not looking for a remedy.
Right.
I just really want to feel held
Absolutely.
in this moment. I want to feel okay.
Yeah.
Because the crying or what I'm agonizing about or grieving about feels very heavy.
Yeah.
And I want this burden to be lifted. Right?
Yeah.
But I also want to understand it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was literally going to God and saying, like, help me through this, carry this with me, speak to me. And in the midst of that, I realized, like you said, sometimes in private, you find certain things to console you, right? To make sense of what you're going through. And I found that God was saying that I want you to be obedient.
Yeah.
And I realized, I was like, obedient? Oh, so now more rules to follow, more things to do. And he was like, the obedience I'm asking you is not rules. The obedience I'm asking you is to trust my voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be obedient in that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. But you still have some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a pull where you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was just like, the obedience that I'm asking is actually a partnership that I want with you. So if I speak, it's for your betterment.
Right.
You trust it.
Yeah.
You move with it.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's the comfort that I want to give you.
Yeah.
Right? It's a commitment to one another. And I realized once I started listening to what we call that small, still voice, and I was just like, okay, let me obey this.
Yeah.
The more certain things became more clear.
Right.
So I think for me, that's what I was moving through. I don't think I ever shy away from feeling angry at God, asking the hard questions. Because I'm like, if he's omniscient, all those things, it's just like, why should I shy away from this powerful God, right? But if that answers your question.
And it's the whole, like, if he already knows, that's the thing. It's like, yo, God, I ain't telling you nothing that you don't already know.
Right.
So I'm just going to say it out loud so that I know that you know. And it's just out there and you can do with it what you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So what did it start looking like in trusting him? Now that you're releasing, you're saying just like, here it is, you're sharing it with people. How did you feel like the relationship was starting to like rebuild itself with God? Like actually trusting him?
Yeah. It was getting to a place where I could start to address the root concerns.
Okay.
Right? Sorry, excuse me.
No, you're good.
Yeah, getting to a place where I just slowly, like, hope started to come back in. Slowly, I found that anger was still there, but then anger wasn't the only emotion that I felt, or it wasn't the predominant one. As anger lessened, I started to, like, be filled with these small instances of gratitude that just constantly started to kind of they were so consistent that it broke down whatever wall that I had in my mind, where it's like, I'm just going to be sad and angry for the rest of my life. Like, there's some times where my daughter will be mad at me, and if she's like mad, there's things that we do, and she, like, is happy, and then she sees me, see her, and she's like, trying to, and then it's like, but you do that consistently enough, and one of the things that you see is, as time goes on, she, it just breaks down the wall, and she gets more comfortable with just being happy and joyful. And so for me, it was it just kind of feels like your eyes start to change, and as your vision starts to change.
There's a clarity that starts to happen.
And it's the loss is still there, and it's like, although life as I knew it was over, life wasn't over. That version of life was, but there's this newer version that's left to unfold. There's this different sense of who I am. And it's kind of those slow things that take place where it's hard for me to like think back on the journey, because growth doesn't necessarily take place like that. I remember, seventh grade to eighth grade. Seventh grade, I was 5'2" or 5'4". By the time I was in ninth grade, I was 6'1" or 6'2". So I had these incredible growth spurts, but I never woke up from one morning to the next and felt like, oh man, I really grew.
Yeah.
It's a few months would go by, and I would look back
and you notice it.
Oh man, my pants are really short now, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with life. I don't know if I can outline the journey. It's just as time went on, I could remember waking up, and outside didn't feel gray. Yeah.
Okay. So in a position of leadership, as you're going through all of this, how are you making room? I mean, we got glimpses of it throughout this discussion, but ultimately, how did you make room while you're constantly in your grief journey, but also being there for your congregation?
Oh, very poorly. I did it very poorly.
Okay.
One of the biggest regrets in my life, and I don't think I've talked about this publicly yet. Okay. One of the biggest regrets in my life was anybody that ever let me think that because of my passion, my hunger, my charisma, gifting, desire, that anybody ever let me, or the words that I'll use sometimes, even like, I don't know, like wooed me into pastoring at that young. I'm grateful for all the things that the Lord did it. One of the biggest regrets in my life is that I've seen how much I've been, and I mean, God does all things well, but I look back and I see how much I've been, malformed and misshaped through that time of when I should have just been discovering and making mistakes and being uncertain about what to do and finding people with gray hair to guide me and to give me advice. I was being leaned on, and my particular disposition to help people put me at a spot where I never learned what it was to be still and to seek help, right? It was when you're preheating an oven and you're trying to bake things, you put that thing there and it needs to cook. Yeah. The constant pulling it out to check
ruins it.
Yes, and there was so much time, I think, in my 20s and 30s where it was like good things just should have been able to bake. But the constant pressure or calling to help people, or the thing inside of me that felt inadequate or felt weak or felt less than or not worthy, if I didn't give that, was a constant. Each week it was letting it out. And again, right, that's life, right?
Yeah.
There's good things and bad things that come from it. So yeah, but I'm like, I did it very, very poorly back then. And I think it's only the grace of God. It's only the fact that God is good and he is kind, that I helped people and that I didn't ruin more lives than I helped. No, really. So, yeah.
How did it look? I'm curious, how did it look when it started shifting where you're like, I can hold my own and also hold others? What did that look like?
Yeah.
Besides just being honest on the pulpit?
Yeah. It looked like boundaries. Mark Dever, a pastor friend of mine, a guy that has served and a guy in more ways than one. One of the things he said is like, yo, John, if you make yourself available to people, which is a good thing and which you want to do, but you do not know how to say no, your life will be overrun and you will hurt more people than you help, including yourself.
Right.
So for me, it was like being able to help people and hold on. I started to do that the best.
Yeah.
Not with all of the times that I said yes, but when I learned how to say no.
Got it.
When I learned how to sit back and to say, I know you really need help right now. I know you really need somebody. I know you really need to talk to somebody. And I know right now I may be the only person in your life that you think that can help you.
Yeah.
However, I've got to say no.
Yeah.
I've got to say no because I cannot.
Was it expressing that you didn't have the capacity to?
I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I don't have it. And if I try to, I'm going to ruin both you and me. And the relationship that we have right now, which is a good one, will be full of resentment both ways because I'm going to continually fail you and you're going to be mad at me. And then I'm going to be mad at me because I failed you. And then I'm going to be mad at you
because you put me in this position.
So if in saying no, you resent me, that's better than both of us resenting you. And you're gonna, as time goes on, you're gonna find out that it's this was one thing that I told my church. So 3.5 years ago, at 38 years old, I quit. I was just like, hey, 16 years, I think that my time is done.
Yeah.
And when I kind of sat and talked with folks at church, it's hey, at the end of the day, it's as things shift, there are people that are a part of this church, 400 people at the time, and it's I've been friendly to all of y'all, but we aren't friends.
Yeah.
So it's this. It was like, I was like, I know this may come off as cold, and I don't want it to come off as cold. I just need to be as clear as I can. And it's this. If we were to be in the mall and an old friend came up and y'all talked and they're like, oh, who's this? If you would introduce me as your pastor, then I just want you to know, after I'm done here, if that was the primary relational tie that linked us, that's been cut. And so we essentially don't have a relationship. And we both have to choose to build up from scratch.
Correct.
And it's, so from that standpoint, it was just and if we both don't want it, then then we don't have it. And it's not saying that you're a bad person. It's just saying, I can't be a good friend to everybody. And if I tried to, I'd be a terrible friend to you, right? And it was just learning that, the quality of my life, my friendships, and my relationships increased when I learned how to say no. When I got comfortable saying no. And now I enjoy saying no. Oh, one of my favorite words.
No. Can't do that.
Complete sentence. No.
Yeah.
That's it.
Don't
Why?
have the space. And sometimes I don't have to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good? All right.
So as we wrap up, right? Oh man, I feel like this was a 2-hour episode.
Okay. Next.
Because it's so much, right?
Next time, yeah.
But let's talk about your book. It's so gorgeous, by the way. We go on.
Thank you.
Just the illustration inside, the quality of the book. It's so beautiful, people.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. So can I talk about
That's
that
what I want you. Okay. Yes, I want you to talk about the book.
We're going as a book on grief. It only comes in hardback.
And I like the fact that it does.
Well, because grief is heavy. And I wanted people to feel that in their hands before it even clicked in their minds.
Okay. Yeah.
like you said, we worked really, really hard on this. I think about myself. I think about my editor, Danielle Peterson, to ensure that it was beautiful on the inside, because grief is beautiful if we lean in, and people do not think about that, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted, as people flipped through the book, to say in their mind, such a gorgeous book, because I wanted that to sit in. Grief is confusing. It's not what we think that it should be. Most books have a picture on the front and just black and white words throughout.
Correct.
I wanted to have just words on the front and pictures throughout the book to show that. Yeah, so all of that is crafted
So
and put
personal.
into the book. Yeah.
It is so personal.
Yeah.
Can you give my viewers and listeners just an overview of what the book takes them through?
Yeah.
As we go on, what do we go on from? Because
Yeah.
sometimes we don't want to move on. So,
well, it's yeah. So it's a really the book is all aimed on when it comes to grief. People tend to think that grief is some journey, right?
Yeah.
That you start, and then someday you'll come and you'll end. And the problem with that is that grief is not a journey. There is no expiration date, no finish line, no end. And so the goal is not to finish, but it's like we talked through. The goal is just to keep on moving forward. It's not about a last step. It's about the next step. And that next step is not one that you take on your own. And so that's why it's not I go on. It is we go on, right?
Okay.
The plural pronouns are the most important.
Okay. And what is your ministry about? Because it's not just a book.
No. Yeah. So
you're the founder of We Go On.
Yeah.
So for my viewers, where can they find you? What is it about?
Yeah. So it is for the past few years, one of the primary things that we've done is we're trying to change the landscape of how grief is seen, talked about, treated in the world, right? So we want to meet people at life's dead ends, all of them, with art and beauty and story to help give people the things that they need before they give up.
Yeah.
Practically what that looks like for the past few years, we've done a tour coast to coast.
Okay.
So an evening that is full of what I call the most pleasant experience that anybody would have with grief. Storytelling, comedy, music, film, to bring people into a place where they can embrace the fact that they are not alone, that grief is not a journey, it is a language. Grief is not just about the loss, it is about love. And so we want to bring people in the room and teach them fluency. So you can find me online. The links will be here. And we've launched a non-profit organization. So if you go to andwegoon.com, you can see everything there.
Okay. Yes. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Shay.
This was a great conversation.
Oh, it was great.
A lot of gems.
Yes.
I even learned a couple of things, not only for myself, but others that I know that are going through their own grievances. So, everyone, please, I will provide all the links and all where you can connect with John in the show notes. So I hope, as myself, you've gained a lot of knowledge, a lot of discoveries about grief and our own emotions and how to give ourselves space for it, as well as others. So please subscribe, like, share this episode so it could hit the algorithm.
There we go.
And be more out there, because more people need to know about this and this journey that we're on. So until next time, when she discovered.